Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to Invisible to be Profitable. I'm delighted you're joining us today. And let me know where you're from. If you're joining us live, feel free to say hi. Let us know where you're from, what you do, and why you're here. If you're joining us for a replay, thank you so much for joining us because someone invited you or just because you wanted to just pop in and say hi. And I really want to thank you for being here in Illuminations groups with us. We're a vibrant community of over members from over 20 countries. And I really am smiling when I say that because 18 months ago, I wasn't so sure we'd be here. And really want to thank you for joining us live. And let us know where you are from so that we can stay in touch. One of the things that those of you who know me really well know is I promise to pop in and say hi later and to type. And one of the great things that Christopher Knight of Local Chamber Influencers, who you'll have a chance to meet during our Building Relationships panel, is that when I hit the keys on this lovely keyboard, it sounds like the Clydesdales. So I'm going to try and stay present, try and stay with you, curl up, relax. I brought a glass for a virtual toast. It's a glass I've never used before from an amazing relative who's toasting with us from a really cool place. And welcome, Sabrine. And I really want to thank you for kind of making my day and just spending some time with us. For those of us who I haven't met yet, my name's Melanie Richards, and I'm the founder of Increase Your Visibility. And Increase Your Visibility helps you build the business of your dreams by attracting clients to hear, learn, and see more about you and how wonderful your products and services are and how much they help others. And I host live and virtual events. And for those who know me way back then, I probably will always be the gift lady. One of the fun parts of doing launches like this and always having a chance to connect is a real reminder of where we start. And I'm the teacher's kid, the bus driver's daughter, the girl from the Bronx. And underneath, I'm an introvert. I know Cynthia's amazing scarf has me looking jazzed up today. And some great lipstick from Gina at Mary Kay, my girl from Dazzling Gems. But underneath, there's the introvert. I want to curl up in a comfortable spot and just chill out. And it takes a bit as an entrepreneur to really cause us to really push beyond that and push beyond our comfort zones. So really, I want to be straight up and start there as we're talking about it. There are days we don't feel like getting up and showing up. We are focusing on life or challenges or other things. As business owners, when we're online, it's easier to hang out behind the keyboard and to not come out and play. And when you're doing it in face-to-face networking, there is no other choice. You have to kind of hold your nose and jump into the pool. And that's what I did. But in the beginning, I wasn't sure I really wanted to try the face-to-face networking. And back when I started, the option to get online didn't exist. It's actually funny. Yes, the business in the Stone Ages. And I think one of the challenging things about it for me was when I started, I was a full-time employee. And I had a 2-hour commute each way to work. And then had to come home and try and talk with clients or try and research products or try and go to orders. It took me probably, I'd say a good year and a half before going to my first networking event. So I was lucky in the beginning to get referrals and introductions from people who were just trying to help me. And after about 2.5 years, it was my full time gig, full time entrepreneur. And I really didn't know where to start from the side hustle. Hey, Hannah, welcome. And I think one of the things that was really challenging about it was that I really didn't know where to start. And I wasn't sure how to start. I had business cards, I had pens, I started researching where to take my first steps, and I ended up at a local chamber. And it was the only place to go. When I looked them up, they had 2,700 members. And it was the only place to go to build business relationships and to build connections. And I wasn't really sure where to start. I remember that first event, and there were over 100 people there. And I was the claustrophobic girl, and I didn't know anybody there. I was a bedroom commuter in my local community. And part of the hard part was figuring out where to start. So I'd really love in our discussions to talk there as we talk about shifting from invisible. No one may know about our businesses yet, may not have had our first client. It may be a direct sales affiliation that you just signed up for yesterday. It may be the new business that you're launching with a brand new website, or you've just printed those cards and you're out to let people know, hey, I'm here. Or you have a storefront and you're hoping for a ribbon cutting. So there's so many different ways as we're approaching how to shift. And after a while, I learned 2 gears, and I'd love to share them with you. You'll hear more about them later. One of them is ROE. And ROE, their returns on energies and engagement. And the other way that I measure it, as opposed to ROI, is by ROO, RU. It's my reminder to go down under, go to Australia. And those are returns on opportunities and objectives. And those were 2 ways that I started learning in the beginning to really focus on, for me, as gear shifts. I had a hard time driving there, getting out of the car, kind of getting jazzed up and ready to appear at a networking event. It took me even longer to approach that online. A local business group and an online community, I happened to one day see the name of someone that was familiar to me. I couldn't quite place the name. It turned out she was the sister of one of my coworkers. And a conversation with her about how to help her husband's company look for t-shirts really started my first online conversation. Before that, just like I was saying at live events, I was claustrophobic. Online, I was in a bunch of groups where I really didn't participate. I wasn't active. I didn't take a step. I wouldn't really make a post. It wasn't comfortable. I wasn't really sure what to say. And I think for many of us, that is it. We're not sure how to show up. Are we of service? Are we just asking a question? Are we trying to give answers? Are we trying to give tips? Or in some cases, if we're online, people are saying, then the next part is set up a virtual coffee. If we're meeting face to face, people are trying to set up a face to face meeting, or they're trying to send you an email to go to a presentation, or send you a newsletter, or a blog, or invite you to come to their storefront, or maybe just something to take the next steps. And I think that shifting part is really hard for a lot of people. I know it was for me. I felt kind of like the difference between taking a short walk and trying to jog and running a marathon, or trying to ride a bike century. So I'd love, as we're talking about shifting and exploring, Feel free to share some of your great feedback with us and share some of your questions about it. What's challenging for you? What encourages you to take your next or first steps, and how we can help you support that. The the shifting for me, I had to really think of it in my brain as kind of taking a first step, because the first step started before you got out of the car, or before you get online, or before you show your profile. What helps us move? And I ended up finding a lot of really great inspiration. We'd find great mentors or coaches, and I love being adopted. I am truly grateful for that, for somebody adopting me at that first chamber event. It was really uncomfortable. And that smiling, beautiful face was at the sign-in table. So there was somebody there to welcome me. There's not always somebody there to welcome us online, which is another reason why I really love that you're here with us in illuminations groups, and that it's a really warm, supportive community. It's really important for me for it to be a safe one. As you're shifting, whether it's offering products and services, whether it's wearing different hats during the day, whether it's wearing different hats during an event, one of the things that's really challenging is that there's so much going on. It's kind of like this wall hanging behind my head. There's a lot of different paths we can take. There's a lot of different routes. There's a lot of different approaches. And I think for many of us, we just have to figure out where to start. So as we're talking through the rest of our live launch, we're going to keep talking about ways for you to start. Let me know when you have a chance. Put a 1 in there if this is something that you need help with now, with maybe getting unstuck, or maybe figuring out different steps, how to shift, where to shift, when to shift, why to shift. Or tomorrow, we're also going to talk in a really cool way about another kind of exploration tool that I found to help me shift gears. And we tested it with clients in over 57 industries. And that's I call it a BVisible engagement map. Some of you have seen it before. It's got real colorful shapes on it. There's 4 big steps on it. You'll find it in the units of illuminations groups. If you really want to preview on our website, there's an opportunity to enter your email address, download a copy before we continue this conversation tomorrow, and to take a few steps to start to think about it. There's also a 12-minute video that tells you a little bit about it. There are 4 steps that I found were really important to help me break down what I did at events, what I did at online, and what next steps were. And it was great as I started stepping deeper into being a marketing coach to watch and help other clients do the same. And we use the map. For some, it may look like a bunch of words or a puzzle. And for those of you who look at it and feel that way, I want you to put a 2 in the replay or the live in today. And feel free also to reach out, and I'll help you walk through it privately. I think for some of us, and I found that for me as a teacher's kid, I was the kid with puzzles. I drove my mom crazy because I never put them together in an organized fashion. And I want to thank Eve for a challenge that she had shared, a challenge element, which reminded me I had to find a new route, I had to find a new way. So I'd put puzzles together, and I'd have a piece over here and a piece over there and a piece over there. I think for many of us, if you feel randomly that that's what's happening as you're approaching building relationships or trying to move from invisible to be profitable, we're trying to look for an express ramp. We want to figure out things that help us do it in less time, that in less energy, and that really help us really hit and knock our goals out of the park. That engagement map was something that I started using to personalize it for an event, for how I approached an industry, for a conference that I was about to attend. It really helped me get strategic, kind of get out of my own head and show up with maybe three things in mind. It really helped me slow down the shifting process. And it's never going to be perfect, but we can try to take steps together to customize it, to just try to be. And really, that's what I love that we do here in this really safe place. So I want to thank you for joining me during the launch and inviting others in to join us. As we invite more people into our community, yes, we've got great prizes for doing that, but we also have an opportunity to connect with them during networking mixers. Our next mixer is on Wednesday. It's Wednesday night, and it's a complimentary mixer. It's the last complimentary mixer that I'll probably host, other than for VIP events and members of our intensive. This event on the 29th is from 6:30 to 8. It's on Zoom. And you can join us via phone. You can join us in person. You can join us from a really comfortable seat from your office. And feel free to invite friends. We love meeting talented people and having great conversations that help you build energizing connections and will help you build your business. And if this Wednesday isn't convenient for your schedule, please join us for the next one, which is at the end of our launch. At our next one, that one is, we're going to have some lovely friends join us. We'll call them Fur Babies. And this one was inspired by, at our BVisible social media in August, Jonathan Howard from JRH Graphics joins us, and his beautiful DC Puggles, Max, were crawling around on the back of his couch. And I said, wow, we've got to have an event for fur babies. What you're going to love is I am highly allergic. So virtual fur babies are welcome. Entrepreneurs without fur babies are welcome. And this event, you'll find, is a little bit different from the mixer we're going to have on Wednesday. We're going to have breakout rooms, so that way you have an opportunity to have conversations. And if your beautiful fur babies are with you, you really can relax and have a private conversation. It'll be a good opportunity to drop things about your business in chats. Feel free for either of our mixers to record a video about you and your story, so that others who maybe aren't in the breakout room, or they don't attend that mixer, or they're just hanging out in the group, they have a chance to learn a little bit about you and a little bit more about your business. One of the things that I love about things like talking about the shifting from invisible, it's really reminding me to live my 2019 word. And that word became transparency. It wasn't the word I started with, and you're going to love it. I know you'll say it's 2020. What's the 2020 word? My 2020 word is shifts. So you're going to find out more about BVisible Shifts, which is a multi-day event I'm hosting November 4th through 7th in the Hudson Valley. It's also a live virtual event. We're going to have lots of time to connect during lives, during watch parties, during replays. And if you're joining us for a replay, please put hashtag replay. And if there's a question or an area in which you're stuck that can help you move forward or take a step, I'd love for you to reach out. If you're not comfortable reaching out in the group, feel free to send me a private message. Also, if you go to the Increase Your Visibility page on Facebook, There's a Learn More tab. You'll see opportunities in there to connect with me in other parts of social media. We can have a conversation. And if you really do also have a team that you're trying to build, let me know. I love sitting down with teams. The cool part is, besides the BVisible engagement map session that we're doing tomorrow, on Friday, we're going to have a fun building connections panel. It'll be a way to help you as you're trying to expand your reach. A lot of what we're doing is about becoming more comfortable and having conversations so that people hear you, connect you, and help you grow your business in the way that you're trying to. Part of that too, as we get through another session you'll really want to check out, is on day 3. We'll talk about how to build relationships with the row and the rue that I just spoke to you about. It'll be an opportunity for us to talk about calls to connect and calls to engage. I think that's all throughout the launch. Our chances just to explore building relationships, building connections, building and generating revenue at a pace that's healthy for us, that we're able to maintain and to scale and to grow. And for those of you who know me well, I am going to take a teeny little break, check in with you on Facebook, check if anybody's got any comments. And yes, the glasses are coming back. So one of the things that I love is that we do have lots of comments. And thank you so much. Hannah, you're right. The puggles are adorable. And Denise, congratulations and welcome. It was great seeing you on the business panel at WEDC on Thursday. And I really do love the fact that in one of our comments, these are first steps in embracing the facts that we're an entrepreneur. It is illuminating. We can feel like the lights are on. And really, you're so right. It's illuminating, yet it is scary, yet you can really feel accomplished. I think you have to be proud of the fact that you're taking a step and that you're trying to do something that isn't so comfortable. And being an entrepreneur, people think that we have to be the expert. We have to know every answer. And it is so not the case. We can be an expert and still have a question. You can be an expert and still need to look for answers. You can being an entrepreneur is sometimes, and I'll say it straight, it's one of the scariest ways to be a human on the planet. They're big steps. They push us out of our comfort zones. And I love this comment. You remind me that when I started my first business, I didn't know how to drive. I couldn't drive to my first client. Now, get me from behind the wheel, and really, you've got to kind of take away the keys, And I love Eve's comment that Eve's talking about virtually following up, that almost cold calling of online is a big deal, and that you need to learn how to feel good about it. We're definitely going to talk more about this. I think one of the things that Eve does that's amazing, and Eve's got an amazing group called Brand Your Dream, and you'll get a chance to get to know her a little more on Friday and in our conversations. And if you're in Illuminations group, check out #Illuminations. I think that following up in general is not the easiest thing. And that whether we're doing it in person or online, it is hard. But I think online, I'm more cautious. I'm still the bus driver's kid and the teacher's kid. And my parents told me to be careful who I sat next to on the subway. And that meant when we meet online, we're not necessarily sure that we're going to be great friends. I met Eve online and I saw this beautiful smiling face. It made it easier, Eve, You felt like a real person. One of the things that's challenging now is sometimes somebody will have an avatar, can't see their eyes. On online profiles, people will say that they live places that they no longer live. And the need to be cautious, I think that part really, really is part of the conversations. I think that's one reason why, and I'm really grateful to Stephanie of Stephanie's in the group, and Stephanie is a business coach. And Stephanie said we needed like a one sentence business plan. It makes it easier for people to approach us or to respond. They kind of know what's on the other end. I do think, though, that online, we have to wait for something that Ivan Meisner mentioned in 2010. And he got it from a talented woman in BNI. And Dr. Meisner called it premature solicitation. It happens in person. It happens online. It happens every day. And tonight I'm going to a networking event with 100 people. I can bet you at least 20 of them will try to sell immediately, 1 out of 5. But I think that as opposed to a cold call, we need to make it a warm call. In the old days, they'd say 7 touches. Some people now say that number's higher because of online or social selling. I think it's easier on LinkedIn. I think it's easier on LinkedIn because you see more people's body of work. You see the professionalism. Sometimes in other social media, we're not sure who we're really dealing with. And a good way to explain that is that they were having the Grammys last night, and they were talking about people and your sense of people. And you feel sometimes with celebrities like you know them because you've seen so much of them. For the rest of us who don't have that opportunity, I think we have to slow it down. We really have to take the time and the care, kind of like online is a blind date. You're not really sure of the next steps. You're not sure you're getting engaged. You're not sure you're going to lunch. So I think the need to take it slow, and we're going to definitely continue to talk more about this and on Friday. Hannah, welcome back. Talented Hannah is behind all of my launches and ahead of them also. And Hannah writes that she loves the community aspect here, and that she was amazed that I invited her to an online video chat when she joined the group. And she was glad that she took me up on it. I'm so glad too, Hannah. Hannah, in our first video chat, I knew I was going to hire you. You had that kind of warmth. And I think, Eve, that's something else that we were talking about on how to approach with the cold calling. Hannah, in our first call, wasn't trying to sell anything. It was just, this is who I am. I'd like to discover who you are. And I think that curiosity, that explorer, the investigator, that part of us has to show up so that we encourage other people to take big next steps. And Hannah also says that return on investment, we feel that when people are meeting us face to face and there's a sales pitch behind it. We feel it when people are trying to sell us face to face or online. Another BNIer said years ago, who here is here to sell? And almost everybody raised their hands. And then the question was, who here is here to buy? And one person raised their hand. There were 100 people in the room. So try and shift, if we can, just a little bit. And this is another Hannah one. We'll keep sharing some more. Hannah went to a face-to-face event, and it's the bridge between social selling. Sometimes it is, you just have to let it out, kind of mix it up. And this, I want to thank beautiful Cynthia for my gorgeous scarf. And I really want to thank you all for joining us today. Let us know on a replay where you're from. Let us know how we can help you. And we're really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Come back and join us tomorrow and keep in touch in the group. We're going to have BVisible engagement map tomorrow at 2. We're going to have watch parties. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you at our networking mixer on Wednesday night. But I hope you all have a wonderful day and an amazing and profitable one. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care and let's continue the conversation. Have a great day and let's be visible. Take care. Be well.